Welcome back to The New Mechanic. My name's Randy, and this is my E46. Today, we're going to be replacing the O-ring on the DISA valve and doing an oil change and getting it back out on the road. I knew that I had a vacuum leak somewhere. A while ago, I replaced the valve cover gasket, and that got rid of the codes that were being thrown. But even after that, I still had some issues when it got really cold outside, where it would seem to have problems at idle, and that's very common of an issue with a vacuum leak. And then recently, I looked at my long-term fuel trims and noticed that they were really high. They're like at 10 to 11%, which means there's more air getting into the system, into the engine, than what it thinks it should be there. So the O2 sensor on the back end is seeing that there's a lot of oxygen left over, so it's running lean. So it decides, hey, whenever this happens, we need to throw a lot more fuel into the mixture. So that's why we're throwing more fuel into the engine, and the long-term fuel trims have to keep bumping up. So recently, I just went ahead and did a smoke test to figure out where it was, and I made my own custom smoke device. It creates a little bit of smoke, pushes it in the intake system, and then we can try to figure out where it was. So that's how I figured out that it was the DISA valve. And we're just gonna go through that real quick just to see it. I'm not gonna show you how to make the smoke machine. Mine is really simple, and quite honestly, there's tons of videos online on YouTube that are way better than what I ended up making. So let's go ahead and show you the smoke. And cap it. Notice we're making a lot of smoke. All right, so this thing's making plenty of smoke. Let's go ahead and just push it right in. So I think the DISA valve is still leaking. I'm also seeing a little bit of smoke coming out of where this brake booster vacuum line connects to some sort of weird plastic doohickey. But I'm not going to worry about that today. All right, so now that we figured out exactly where the leak and leaks are coming from, we're gonna at least replace the DISA valve O-ring. I know it wasn't a lot of smoke this time. The other night it was a lot more smoke, so I still want to replace it, maybe just with it sitting there a little bit longer, because I did take it out and put it back in. Maybe this time, when it sat a little bit longer, sealed a little bit better, but I'm gonna go ahead and still replace it, and hopefully that helps our fuel trims come back down to where they belong. So let's go ahead and do that. First step, we're going to take out the DISA valve and then take it over to the bench. There are two T30s. The other one is down here somewhere. When you take the DISA valve out, it might be a little bit tougher for you than what I just did there, but remember to keep this part tilted up as much as possible. There's a little pin here that may fall out. Mine's not loose at all, so it did not. Yeah, and I can't even pull it. So we're gonna go ahead and take it over to the bench, and this is the part that we're gonna replace, this orange O-ring. All right, now that we've got the DISA valve over by the workbench, what we're gonna do is make sure this is still good, or at least functioning fairly well. So this is actually the bottom. There's a little hole at the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and seal that up with our thumb. I'm using a glove just to get some better sealing. And now on this flapper, we're just gonna go ahead and turn it, and it should stay like that. And when you let go, it'll go ahead and opens the whole way. The O-ring is actually molded into place. So all this orange stuff that you see is actually a molded system to seal everything. So what we're gonna have to do is actually cut this out, try to get it out of there completely, and then we can slide the new one on. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do. You'll need a very sharp knife to do this, and hopefully it won't be too bad. So as you can kind of see there, the lighting's good enough. It's not really peeling out. It seems just to be disintegrating, so it's gonna take a little bit more effort and work to get this, but I think we can get it. Alright, so now that we got it out of there, you can see that there's no orange O-ring or whatever you want to call it in there. I did my best because it is injected into this. it's really hard to get it super clean. So let's go ahead and put the new O-ring on and hope that it seals. All right, so here's the O-ring. It also came with some grease, so we're gonna go ahead and put that on there, and hopefully everything's fine. We're gonna do our best not to stretch this O-ring and just try to get it right into place. Great, it's on. Throw some more grease on it. All right, let's go ahead and install it in the car. All right, let's go ahead and put it back in. Remember, we got our screws in the T30. And this should be tight when it goes in. Oh, that was good. Nice and tight. So, we'll go ahead and bolt it back up. And get everything back together. And then get some oil, do an oil change, and then we should be good. All right, so we finally got it all back together. Car should start. But while I was actually doing that the other day when I took everything out, it accidentally leaked a ton of oil because I was trying to pull out the dipstick tube and I think I pulled it out and then the oil leaked out and I don't know. But we need to go ahead and drain the oil. So I'm not gonna start it because I don't know how much oil's in it and I'm not gonna fill it up with brand new oil and then run it just to mix everything up. So we're just gonna drain it, replace the filter, and do an oil change that way, and then we should be good to go. And just like that, we finally finished it. We got the DISA valve done, we got the oil change done, so we should be able to start it. All right, hopefully this works nicely. Well, that wraps it up. We got the DISA valve done, we got the oil changed, so I'm happy. Oil needed to be changed, so we had to do that. The DISA valve, I don't know, I guess we'll see if it helps anything. If not, it's not a big deal. It only costs $6.60. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the description below. They shipped it out really quickly. I was quite surprised. I think I ordered it on like a Friday and it came on a Monday or Tuesday. So go ahead and order from them. $6.60, you really can't beat that. But we got some cool things in store for the future. You know how all the seats are black and they're, they just look faded and all the interior just looks kind of old. Well, we're gonna try to make it so much better. I got some dye from Leather World. I talked with Sean from Leather World and he gave me a lot of good instructions on how to proceed with this, but what we're gonna do is dye all the seats the cinnamon color. Yeah, so we're gonna have a cinnamon interior. All the panels that were black, they're gonna be black. We're gonna, they're kind of faded now, so we're gonna use some vinyl paint and get those nice and black again. The seats are gonna be this cinnamon color, and I think it's gonna look really, really good when we're done. But it's gonna be a lot of work. We gotta take out all the seats. We gotta clean everything up. We have a lot of prep work to do, and yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and I'll catch you next time.